Chapter 93, The Fool's Justice. You know, if I was part of your generation, I don't think I would have gone to war just to kill someone to be a man. It would be something I was forced to do, because there was no other option. But you make it sound like you feel glad you were a part of it. I figured WW2 was at least a war that needed to be fought because there was no other alternative. If there was ever a war that needed to be fought, it was that one. But still, in the end, it was an ugly thing, since all wars are ugly things. And there was nothing glorious about it. What glory is there in 80 million people dying? And with that thought, Michael started to see things in a higher sense, of everything that was not just wrong with this man, but also myself. And America as a whole. I think now we want a war. We want conflicts, so we can try and be heroes again, like we were after WW2. We now in the 80s, my generation, want that sense of glory that our fathers felt, so we can feel victorious like they did. But in order to be a great hero, you need a great villain. Mrs. Dorian here calls it peddling fear to the masses. I see it as peddling a challenge. Look at how we are with the Soviets. We want a war with them. We want one so very badly. So we can whoop their asses and feel like heroes again. But if we're to really go all out with them with a conflict, that'll be the end of us all. Since with nukes, there really won't be a V-Day again, since there won't be any nation left to celebrate it. I don't know, I see this as something very problematic within us. WW2 needed to be fought, but we don't need a WW3 or 4. Hell, the first one was supposed to be the war to end all wars, and see how that worked out. We've had 2 horrific ones. We don't need another. Not unless we have to. But if we just keep wanting it so badly, even after the commies, who are we going to be looking forward to as the new bad guys? We can kick around to feel better about ourselves. The Chinese, Cubans, North Koreans. Maybe like what Dorian here said, since there's a lot of terrorist groups now amongst the Muslim nations. I mean, besides all this crazy shit this Dorian is concocting here, this whole Cold War thing still might end disastrously. It still might, thanks to Ronnie there. I mean, that's the only reason he's in office. After that pussy Carter, America wanted a war hero as president again, coming from the daddy party, since there was nobody like Eisenhower. They went with an actor, someone that's at least pretending to be one in movies. And I don't know. Can we go back to the 50s? Can we? Since that's what we've been wanting to do this entire decade. To become again the embodiment of all that we represented back then. Back when we were still feeling the rush of being victorious and triumphant people. Back when we were the most American we as Americans have ever been, supposedly. Can we become our old selves again? Can we? We can't just want to be heroes, to be triumphant. When a time arises, we have to rise up and face the challenge. Only then we should rise up and do that, not before. We can't just go around picking fights to see if we still got what it takes, running around with our guns, just wishing for someone to tell us to stop. Something I've been guilty of. I have. But it's been wrong of me for doing that, no question about it. Those punks on the streets, they're my people in the end. They're me. And to refuse them, I'm pretty much refusing myself. I've done nothing but make them all out to be the bad guy, just to make myself the so-called good guy. That's the thing about heroes and villains. There really isn't much difference between the two. The only difference is the heroes don't want no conflicts, the villains do. Therefore, fuck you, Mr. Dorian Man, here, and his culture of hero worship. If we keep this shit up, going around challenging everyone to step up to us, to test ourselves with, wanting to be heroes by vilifying everyone else, eventually, we'll be the bad guys. And we'll be the villains. And the ones that will need to be taken down, and hard, too.